Welcome back to our marathon of Generations films, and today, what a film we've got in store for you today. We have got the 1986 classic Top Gun.
Wait, hold on. I thought we were watching a video game movie adaptation of Afterburner.
Sorry, Jova, we're not doing Suburban Commando today.
The film stars Tom Cruise, and it was directed by the late Tony Scott, and it's essentially a giant advert for the American Air Force.
One done in wholesome taste, no doubt.
Which is funny considering the director was from Britain.
Let me tell you this, Jova. This is the advertisement to the U.S. Army that Transformers wishes it could be.
And it was from a British guy.
And from what I understand, it has given us one of the most popular songs to ever come out of the 80s.
Highway to the Danger Zone, yes. Which we will hear multiple times in this.
Believe it or not, despite being the sole the main American on this group, this is my first time ever seeing this movie.
I watched, as I mentioned in the original commentary, I watched it as a child. But admittedly, it has actually been a while since we did the original. More on that during the intro. Speaking of which, where should we start?
Okay, we're going to start at 0, and there is a 6-second gap between us and the Paramount logo coming up.
The old school one at that, too.
It's a custom one, to be precise as well.
Yes. So when everyone is prepared, we're going to head into the danger zone.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Needless to say, this is another one of those generations that I'm glad we're doing, because I tried to listen again to the original commentary, and predictably it wasn't really that great. A bit better than what I imagined, but still.
Was it a case of the quality not being the best, or the commentators not paying as much?
Quality and of the audio, and not of every joke's landing. But it's a bit better than I remember. I thought it could have been worse. Anyway, if there's a reason why this is regarded as one of the quintessential 80s movies.
Such a serene...
Soothing.
Is exactly what I expect for a child.
On March 3rd, 1969, the United States Navy established an elite school for the top 1% of its pilots. Its purpose is to teach lots of air combat and to ensure the handful of men who graduate were the best fighter pilots in the world. They succeeded. Today, the Navy calls it the Fighter Weapons School. The Flyers call it, and yes, we say men because women can't fly, am I right?
Top Gun.
Top Gun, yeah.
We can flip the bird, however.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Val Kilmer is also in this. Actually, that's a good segue, Dweebs. Can you tell us also about the budget and the recouping?
It cost $15 million to make. Bear in mind, this is 1986 money. And it made $357.3 million.
That is several, even beyond 10 times its budget.
And mind you, again, if you know anything, because it's chances are you probably could not escape knowing about it. This did got a sequel in 2022, and that one blew out of everyone's expectations. Even when it came to recouping, to the point where many have started believing that this is actually becoming one of Paramount's new flagship franchises because of it. Even though we don't really know if they have future plans for this.
But also bear in mind, as physically active as he still is, bear in mind its main star is now 60.
Well, that's not stopping him
from doing stuff. I know that the Mission Impossible upcoming movie is still the last, but Tom Cruise, Scientology powers and everything, seems that he's not capable of physically stopping himself.
Speaking of
was the new movie actually good? Because okay, because I didn't hear a lot about it. It was advertised very heavily, but I didn't hear the audience talking about it.
Sure, the appeal is the practicality, the fact that every shot that you see, there's barely any CGI used, and all the scenes that you're seeing were actually filmed using real jet and doing all those acrobatics, which is impressive.
That's cool.
That movie
I'm
went
just
on.
surprised that it needed this much money.
That movie went on to become the second highest grossing movie of 2022.
And there it is, Highway to the Danger Zone.
Basically, if Tom Cruise is the producer, you're good to go in terms of in for a good time with the movie.
So here's the thing about Tom Cruise, Shiroi. he gives 190%, if not a full 200, when it comes to doing his movies as practically as he can. What do I mean for that?
Although
he literally took up aerial flying lessons, as in he actually learned how to fly a fighter jet, not just for this movie, but I believe updated ones for the 2022 sequel.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, he's very committed.
As for the music you're hearing now, the actual soundtrack was done by a guy called Harold Faltermeyer, who's mainly a German composer who mainly does synth work. And as for the songs themselves, it was done by this song was sung by Kenny Loggins along with Playing with the Boys, and the songs themselves were worked on by Tom Whitlock and Giorgio Moroder.
And yeah, so since Deji actually bothered to mention, I don't know how much of true it is, but allegedly if you start singing this while being in the military, you get booted out.
I have never heard of that, so I don't know how true it is.
It easily might be just a urban legend.
Possibly. Tom Cruise was only 24 years old when he shot this movie.
And yes, as Jova also mentioned at the beginning, and also in the original commentary, this being essentially propaganda for the US military did work out because recruitment did improve after this. So people were genuinely impressed and wanted to give their part.
From what I understand, the sequel kind of did help that, and it was probably at a good time where people were having...
There he is.
Less safe, yep.
Cruise was like 58 when they filmed Top Gun Maverick.
And yet somehow he doesn't look that much older.
Because military, all of these people, these pilots have code name. Our protagonist is called Maverick, while his partner is Cougar.
I'm guessing he drank from whatever secret pool Sakurai drinks from.
I guess.
I told you in your commentary, maybe being Scientology is sacrificing someone or something, and we don't even know.
Or maybe, maybe he's doing that thing from the Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island movie. He's secretly... a cat person who's consuming the people's life
energy. And as you can imagine, this being in the middle of the 80s, means that almost all of the shot that you see of the planes is authentic. I don't think there's any CGI involved. I don't know if they ever, because it's been a while since I watched it, I don't know if you use toy models at some point, but for most of the scenes, it's actually genuine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, honestly, no, I'm not really sure about these scenes, filming them in the cockpit, though.
Well,
no, okay, I can imagine the ones in the cockpit are, more,
Obviously, there's no way you can there's no way you could even do that, realistically speaking. But,
actually, there were some means of doing that.
Did it, so I can imagine it might be just a matter of the technology being used.
I guess you could technically put a camera on the plane, but it seems like even for as dedicated as you are, it seems like way too much danger and work just for a 5-second shots.
Here it is. Let's see. Renowned aerobatic pilot Art Skull was hired to do in-flight camera work for the movie. So
I can imagine in some scenes they do actually have the camera in the cockpit, but in others, they might be just done some reshoots potentially.
Here we go. The original script called for a flat spin, which Skull was to perform and capture on a camera on the aircraft. The aircraft was observed to spin through its recovery altitude, at which Skull radioed, "I have a problem. I have a real problem." So, so apparently, they did have this idea here. Unfortunately, he was unable to recover from the spin and crashed his Pitt special biplane into the Pacific Ocean off the Southern Carolina coast near Carlsbad on September 16th, 1985. Neither Skull's body nor his aircraft were recovered, leaving the official cause of the accident unknown. Top Gun was dedicated to his memory.
All right.
So yeah,
knowing Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk was probably made in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, since they're in the middle of the Indian Ocean, if I recall correctly, that's what they mentioned that in the initial. They're basically just essentially doing routine training.
Hey, guys, I just thought of something.
What?
This is probably one of Miyazaki's favorite movies to jack off to.
Definitely.
He prefers old models of planes.
So
I mean, look at this. It's just planes flying around. I mean, this is
Just
right up his alley.
the moment.
All right, so apparently the traditional sense of how this sort of stuff is filmed is that normally you have camera lenses that are put inside the cockpits of the fighter jets, but for this film, it was shot in Super 35 format as anamorphic lenses were too large to fit inside the cockpits of the fighter jets, and also the cameras would fall off their mounts when the fighter jets maneuvered on their sides. So, yeah, no, basically, they took every shot they could, essentially, to deliver pretty much an authentic experience. Stuff which probably might have been unheard of in the 80s. Like, you'd be excused for thinking that this is a James Cameron movie with how much they had to really, work with technology old or new to make this movie work.
That will also explain a bit the more quick editing. They just had to decide how to pace properly the shots that they could get.
Remember the old days back when a camera would shoot out an instant piece of paper instead of saving it digitally?
I'm sure whoever's in charge of investigating this will be able to tell who he is from his
Houston, we have
head.
a problem.
I know a couple of people who still have cameras like that.
Yeah, they're called Polaroids, yes.
Yep, there still is a place for Polaroids.
They're very, popular in the retro type of...
They're nice to have.
A bit bulky, but I actually had one, not personally one, but I had a group of friends that they actually did had one. So there is a bit of a genuine good sensation in holding one in your hands.
Oh, how to guess? That can't be good.
Bad choice.
Cougar, you alright?
So, considering everything, how long did this take to film and everything?
I imagine quite a while.
Probably quite a long time.
Maverick,
this was back in the 80s.
So, believe it or not, filming began in Oceanside, California on June 26, 1985. Which means, let's see... Oh my god, they filmed it in less than a year, since the film released on May 12, 1986.
Yeah.
Alright, so the best part of a video game, trying to land on the rig.
On the plane.
Have fun.
So fun.
In case you don't know, Shiri, the NES video game is notoriously infamous for being extremely hard to do this particular maneuver.
So,
apparently, the AVGN managed to perform only with the power glove, and that felt more like an accident.
So of course the sim got a video game.
Yeah.
Let's just say the video game is shit, and
again, it's not even like he. Honestly, Joe, it's not even that much work he will look into it because it has basically nothing. It's a very variable arcade experience.
There's a thing too. That game doesn't even have anything to do with this movie, aside from the fact that that you're flying a plane. Like nothing.
It's not even like a prequel.
We really might as well look at any Ace Combat title because those tend to be with the one involved with a story.
Actually, I wonder, did Ace Combat ever have a collaboration with Top Gun?
Yes, Ace Combat 7 had a bunch of promotional items, one included with Top Gun Maverick.
That is genius.
Alright, family there. It's about family, see?
So fun fact.
Go
on, Pedro.
To answer your question, Jova, it's literally just a plane flying game that they attached a Top Gun name to. That's all it is.
And yes, Maverick literally uses his plane as physical support for the one of Cougar so he can have a safe land.
Now, ain't that some wholesome togetherness?
Again, this is just the start of the not so subtle homoerotic subtext of the movie, and it's amazing.
So, fun fact, a lot of this movie takes place on a ship called the USS Enterprise, based on an actual ship, except not based because... Except not based because that's the actual USS Enterprise they used for most of the filming. Yep, the Mad Lads actually, well, probably helped that this was... Yes, the Mad Lads got the actual USS Enterprise ship to use for most of the filming scenes on the boat.
I mean, it's better than whatever happened with the Battleship movie.
Oh yeah, where they had to literally bring a retired battleship out.
Also, why are these people copiously sweating? I know it's the Indian Ocean, so probably hot, but still.
Yeah. I guess it's to show the stress.
Like, I thought the pilot makes sense because he had that panic attack, but even the Baldy angry general guy here.
It's an 80s action movie. That's testosterone they're sweating.
Mm-hmm.
So Cougar resigns his commission out of shame.
And that's because, he fucked up.
Right, and as for the people who wrote this movie, the late Jim Cash.
So what happened was the principal finally got fired from being such a mean thing to Marty McFly, and now he's working at the Air Force. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and yes, sure. That's the principal from Back to the Future. I don't know if you've ever seen those movies.
Yeah, I've seen those movies.
Well, there you go. The principal is not. This is the principal. Go on.
So he's very good at yelling at people.
Oh boy.
So as for the movie, the late Jim Cash, whose filmography also included Izzy and Moe, Legal Eagles, The Secret of My Success, Turner and Hooch, Dick Tracy, Anaconda, The Flintstones of Viva Rock Vegas, who wrote it along with the other writer, and Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Also, you want to talk about sweating? Like, seriously, like, just in that previous shot, like, this guy's
Yeah.
head is sweating like
Everyone
mad.
is
Like,
doing it.
has he been in the... Well, I understand the others because they just finished flying the planes. This
have
guy's
you
been
been
sitting on a
filming-
chair this whole time.
Hey, that's
like,
the title of the movie.
And he's still sweating like a pig. Like,
I wonder
Also,
if this...
have we been filming in the same hangar of a Super Mario 1993 movie?
I was about to say, I wonder if maybe air conditioning wasn't readily available on the battleship? Oh my!
Loose cannon Maverick.
You're a loose cannon.
Oh my God! Is this the movie where a lot of those cliches were born? Am I seeing history in the making?
To be fair, no, the cliché is mostly reserved to police detective movie like Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this. The general...
It applies here, too.
I do like it. His commander gives him a hard time, but he is looking out for his best interests.
Yes, the Danger Zone, Miramar, California.
So I'm guessing Danger Zone is pretty much this movie's leitmotif.
The composer for this film did come back to do the next one, Maverick, along with Hans Zimmer and Lady Gaga, of all people.
Interesting.
Remember, Lady Gaga recently has been much more involved in the film industry ever since.
Yeah, she's supposed to be Harley Quinn in the Joker sequel.
Well, that's the thing too. I don't know if you've seen her work, but she actually is a genuinely good actress. To be fair,
she is. Yeah.
And hey, here's Michael Ironside.
Wow.
Still a few hair on his head.
She also did her own version of Sound of Music, and she actually sings it pretty well.
Oh.
So to be fair, she's actually talented. To be fair,
She was making those.
And yeah, there's Val Kilmer.
that reminds me, Lewis. Have you ever seen A Few Good Men?
I don't think so. No.
That's one Tom Cruise classic I have to show you at some point.
Oh, Tom Cruise was in that movie.
Look, Jova. It's a trial plot where Tom Cruise is the prosecutor against a witness played by Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. I knew about Jack Nicholson. I didn't know about Tom Cruise in that movie.
He's the prosecutor in that.
I just looked it up. It's from a pre-North Rob Reiner and Aaron Sorkin.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact of his current age, I think Tom Cruise would have been a fit for Matt Murdock as in Daredevil.
Oh, honestly, he probably still could do that despite the age. Because
people say that he should have been Tony Stark. I think he would have fit more as Matt Murdock.
like the thing about Tom Cruise is like, well, he still has the looks of a man at least like a third of his actual age. I don't know how he does it, but look, he's not only got the moves, he's got the looks, to the point where some people still think he's 30.
When it comes to him doing any comic book characters, honestly, to be honest, well, actually, no, never mind. That would be.
Were you about to say Superman?
No. I was about to say Batman, but now that I think about it, no, the new movie is meant for a young. He's a bit too old for the Batman in that movie. Now that I think about it.
Again, the thing is, I feel like he could probably still pass for a young Batman because of how he looks.
Don't get me wrong. Robert Pattinson is a really good Batman. I just don't think he was a particularly great Bruce Wayne.
I think
whereas I think Tom could definitely pull off both.
That is quite the laugh you have, sir.
Yeah.
Time to have some fun.
Animal Night. Okay.
Ooh, risque.
Well, actually, this was very common in parties in the 80s. So.
Well,
look at the 80s hair.
Yeah.
I'll take Pedro's word for it
started.
until it was around in the 80s.
I always mention the 80s as the era where everybody had horrible hairstyles.
I know, right?
That's saying something given what we had in the 70s.
Like, is that a hair? Is that hair on your head, or do you have like a dog, or are you
The
carrying a dog on your
1780s were the era also of the mullet, and I never understand what was the appeal of these.
God, the mullet.
Sometime last year, my mum went to the hairdressers and asked if they would do a mullet for her, and they just straight up told her no.
Wait.
We don't do mullets anymore, lady.
I was about to say, like, it'd be something if they still gave her the mullet.
That being said, Shiroid, you shouldn't that shouldn't discourage her, because there are places you can go.
Although I'm not too surprised, since the mullet kind of started making a comeback with 2021. So
there are places.
Like,
also,
they were mostly joking because, like, she's been going to this place for a very long time, but it was like they were trying to dissuade her, like, are you sure you want that lady?
I wonder, Shuri, is this the trend she was trying to follow? The current thing going on with the modern mullet trend?
Yeah, because mullets have actually become popular recently, actually, so maybe that's...
My mother likes these movies, so
stop me if you heard this one. Val Kilmer plays the character of a jackass.
Oh, so it's perfect casting for him.
I mean, he's also back in the sequel, albeit in a heavily reduced role
for
because of
reasons.
Yeah. Plus, it's one of the few times where I personally can excuse and forgive the use of AI for his voice.
Yeah,
I will. It's still a better job at whatever the fuck they did with the ADR in the Snowman.
He's definitely better cast here than he is in what's the name, Batman Forever.
If I do understand,
Dr. Bureau.
Oh, was anyone cast? Well, I guess some people were cast well in that, but like, you know.
Again, David Fool maybe for the genuinity of his insanity.
So anyway, was Val Kilmer a nightmare to deal with on this movie, or did he actually behave himself here?
Well, as far as I know, not many people reported much on the matter.
No. I mean, there's nothing about the film's production that I'm aware of. It was just
we have in this movie Meg Ryan. I think Pedro, you had some choice words for her in the original commentary.
Oh.
Well, no, it's not so much that. I mean, she's a good actress. It's just that...
No, nothing serious. I remember you mentioning that to try to look for current photos of her.
Oh, that, yeah. Let's just say, Meg, I love you, honey, but let's just say she hasn't aged the best. Like, if you look up current pictures of her, like, compared to how she looks here... Whoa, honey, what happened?
I mean, it's been...
The industry probably happened.
But yeah, in case you're wondering, if I recall correctly, they didn't mention either in the making or somewhere else, but Meg Ryan's character's presence here is to be the obviously telegraphed love interest for Tom Cruise, because the makers were actually afraid that people would be convinced instead of the homoerotic subtext. As you can imagine, it didn't work out.
No, it's the same with Fast and Furious. Like, it is the gayest franchise.
Honestly,
one second.
Honestly, you want to know the irony? Nowadays, obvious love interests like these, if anything, they add to the homoerotic sense because, it's what TV tropes calls the beard, essentially, where you have a love interest of the opposite sex that is specifically given to hide the fact that someone is gay. Like, absolutely gay. I mean, granted, I'm not quite getting it yet, but I think I can see where it might go with that.
It's kind of like the whole. It's kind of like the whole thing with He-Man, like where you watch the He-Man and She-Ra crossover special, and you watch. There's so much phallic imagery in that thing that it's just like you're trying your hardest not to make gay jokes, but it's just like it's so difficult,
Come to think of it, didn't Tom Cruise once confess his love because people thought he was gay or something?
Oh, well basically,
that.
well, I can actually explain that too. Basically, for a while, there was people who were making jokes and rumors about him being gay, and it didn't help when he went on Oprah.
All right.
And I'm not kidding you. He literally, because he had just recently started a relationship with Katie Holmes, and I'm not kidding you, Joe. You can look this up on YouTube. He started jumping on the couch, going, "I'm in love with Katie Holmes. I'm in love with Katie Holmes." And I think Family Guy's parody of that moment did it best, where it's Stewie going, "I'm in love with Katie Holmes. I'm in love with Katie Holmes. I'm not gay. I'm not gay."
There were also a couple of memes on the matter, I remember now. If you ever played the Newsground The Game trilogy, you will find there is actually a minigame stuck in here where you have to destroy the couch.
It's one of those. You see, Joe, it's one of those. You're trying really hard to make this apparent, Tom. Is there any particular reason why you insist on this so much?
Well,
and a lot of people would constantly, and South Park also would make a joke about, look, Tom, just come out of the closet, just come out of it, it's okay, just come out of there. And he basically, Tom Cruise would hide himself in Stan's closet, and he's like, Tom, come out of there, it's okay, nobody's mad at you, come on, just come out, just come out, Tom, come on.
Ooh, that might be a crash and burn.
This was also back in the days of really silly-looking mustaches.
Wait.
Trust me, Dweebs, the 70s were technically worse on the matter. Also,
Michael,
what are you wearing?
I've seen a lot of 70s things.
I can imagine that's an
70s.
actual beret of the aviation, but it looks a bit...
Oh, no! Let me guess. It's the girl you hit on.
Did somebody order some irony?
Dun, dun, dun!
Yeah, Tommy's like, fuck my life.
Okay. That's one way to get around the whole as you know thing, as most of you know. So some of you might need
and a lot of these are new recruits, so...
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is a good educational movie about flight vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this movie was basically made as... This movie's basically US Navy Air Force propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, we got the guy with the cowboy hat.
And now, it's very interesting to do that in a film that's releasing worldwide, and it's only really going to be applicable to one country you're releasing it in.
And yet, it ended up being a hit worldwide.
Let's remember, Dweebs, that stuff like Independence Day actually became actually more famous in Europe, depending on how we viewed it.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. This film and that film have in common something that's both the most American thing in the world, while not being directed by Americans. In this case, Tony Scott was British.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So there you are, Jova. We can be just as American as you are.
And boy, does it make us proud.
Fuck yeah.
no.
Anyway, I just got myself in images that show what I mean. Like, I got a picture of first of Meg Ryan in 2013 and her in 2022. Basically, you Google images of your friend if you want to see for yourself. Like seriously, like honey, what happened?
But,
I mean,
Yeah.
Lots of plastic surgery, I'm guessing.
Probably.
All right. Just to be clear, we are not talking on Meg Ryan herself.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm literally just asking questions.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's just sometimes you have to give a bit of a clarification, otherwise. Don't you hate it when that happens? You're talking and you just randomly give the finger. We have a what?
Michael, Michael Ironside, do you ever smile in your life?
Well, okay. I don't. Okay, aside from Highlander 2, I don't think I've ever seen a film where Michael Ironside doesn't play a gruff military guy.
I guess it's typecasting ideal. I think he might smile once or twice in Starship Troopers, but that's kind of it.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he smiled in the Nuremberg TV movie either.
I mean, maybe there's a good reason there. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. He might take pride in his work or something. Yeah, do it yourself. What? Okay, when did there was this film Tom Cruise did with Tony's brother Ridley at one point.
Yes, you mentioned your John commentary legend. It has Tim Curry playing the devil.
Yeah, and okay, I haven't seen the full movie, but I have seen a few bits and pieces from it. And Cruise is, from what I can tell, Cruise is actually pretty poor in that film.
Yeah, it's probably because it's really out of his comfort zone. But I can still enjoy the movie for what it is. And again, great casting for Tim Curry, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, okay, guys, I like this song too, but it's like when they kind of overuse the Bond theme in the early Bond films. You have to use it for every scene.
Okay,
I don't
Jova,
think they
I've
use it
never
for
seen
every scene. Yes, Theo?
I've never seen the animated Transformers movie. How much do they use the touch?
2 times.
Okay, so it might have been a thing of the 80s to do that.
Yeah, again.
Okay, I don't think it's actually the song.
God, the synths.
I mean, again,
1986, Yuri.
Again, to give Danger Zone credit, I think it's this movie's leitmotif, and I feel like they're using it spread out relatively fine.
Yeah. Just as because I was gonna say, the first 2 Bond films are kind of guilty of using the Bond theme at times where it wasn't really needed. Like it's been a while since I've seen this film, but I wouldn't be surprised if they used the Danger Zone while someone's taking a shit.
And also, keep in mind, a lot of times, like in this case, there was an instrumental version of it rather than the vocal one.
I know it's technically a part of the series, but maybe one of these days I'll pick the 80s Transformers movie.
Is it in continuity with the cartoon?
It is in continuity with the cartoon. It's arguable you can watch it without seeing the Gen 1 cartoon.
Well, yeah, if I remember correctly, wasn't it made by the same team that made the show to begin with anyway? I mean, it has the same voice actors, the same animation. Stuff like that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so yeah, it's literally a spun off from the show itself.
The only 2 things that I know about is that Optimus dies and there's Orson Welles in it for some reason.
Let me put it like this. Transformers Gen 1 the movie is one of those, let's call it classics with a question mark. A lot of people have big memories of the poignant moments like Optimus dying and whatnot, but a lot of people remember it as, well, essentially a big publicity stunt. Well, not so much a publicity stunt, but a big toy-selling stunt. Because
that was kind of the point of the series in general.
That's what Transformers was.
Well, basically, the point of the movie was to essentially kill off most, if not all, of the old cast.
Guys, please don't be saying Justice dead. You'll just be bringing. You might end up bringing on that thing happening IRL on the movie.
You also noticed that this particular thing, out of movies that would have been centered around the war, mostly do focus about fighting the enemy. But at least as far as I remember, this movie focuses entirely on training. So it has an inherent. It doesn't have that immediately, warmongering type of message, despite being a U.S. military commercial.
Mm-hmm. So Shiro, let me guess. This sure is a lot of air jets.
Yeah. Damn you, Maverick!
Yeah,
that's what you get for drinking coffee in this area. Like, dude,
Maverick!
that was your own fault.
I mean, okay, at the very least, drinking coffee in a cup like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like put a lid on it or something. But yeah, Optimus dying is the only thing I've seen from that movie.
Probably for good reason. It's probably one of the best done parts of the movie because a lot of that movie is kind of a mess.
About Orson Welles.
Oh yeah, he was in that too. Apparently to his somewhat trickery and chagrin. Well, not so much trickery, but apparently he did not give a crap about that movie, which ironically ended up helping his performance. That is ironic coming from Val Kilmer of all people.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Have we interrupted something?
See, they notice it too.
You guys want to kiss?
You guys want to be left alone?
Like, we can...
Not very much space, but I was wondering, did they make decent amount of merchandise out of this movie? All right.
And yeah, Shiro, it seems like those is exactly why me and my buddies used to make a lot of jokes like
Twice.
This is just a waste of coffee. Like, stop what you're doing, please.
Well, Dwez probably likes that at least, but
well, I don't.
Likes what? Sorry.
Well, the constant throwing of coffee to the ground since I know you hate coffee.
Yeah, I don't like coffee.
Like in the fucking Neil Breen movie.
Godo's a Top Gun fan.
But yeah, sure. It seems like that in the locker room. That's exactly because it seems like that me and my buddies used to make that kind of joke back in the day.
You and apparently a lot of people, given the reputation that this movie has nowadays.
Oh no, Alice just got back and also confirmed the homoeroticism in this movie.
Oh yeah, like there's a lot of it. It's not He-Man levels of homoerotic, but
See, he's not sweating because there's an actual fan in this room.
You hesitated when you said that.
Well, he said yes, sir, eventually, so it's not like we can fire him.
And it sounded convincing in his tone. I know you're in of interest, by the way.
He's a loose cannon.
Yeah. Literally. Ooh. He's secretly proud of the guy.
And very full with his power, apparently.
So, apparently, something happened that has disgraced Maverick's family name.
Yeah, and this movie is about him regaining that.
He's regaining his honor, you should say.
I guess so.
Yeah, somehow I doubt that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not helped by the fact that a lot of fixes start exactly with those kind of phrases.
Yeah. That was actually the least straight thing you could have said.
Yep. You're starting to see what I mean, sure.
Like it's not even a case where they're trying to hide that much. I'm pretty sure at this point the writers knew exactly the way they were doing. They were proud of it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, I swear. Another thing I swear was common in these kinds of films in the 80s was that they use a lot of tell don't show a lot.
Yeah. Well, again,
they always end up talking a lot about this guy did this, or you'll never live up to your great granduncle.
Saved all the budget for the plane sequences, so
because
flashbacks couldn't be done, I guess.
When you really get down to it, this particular movie is about not much when you really analyze it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically. The film is okay. It's not all like this or this, obviously, but most of it just comes off as a bunch of twats fucking around in planes.
Yep.
That's an interesting description of one of the most beloved movies of all time, and I really do mean it.
I mean, it's not wrong, is it?
And the thing is, it really is beloved, because in 2015, the United States Library of Congress selected this movie for preservation.
It's a bit too hard. It's too quick and too aggressive.
Even before that,
I can make some kind of sexual innuendo out of that. Let me think about it.
I wonder
even before that she did it, she actually said something that, like, in the briefing outside, I noticed.
Sir, come join the military for sexual innuendos.
Hey, Shiroi. Remember that that Family Guy parody of Tom Cruise where it's
dang, shot him down.
And where it's Stewie what?
Where it's Stewie jumping up and down as Tom Cruise going, I'm in love with Kitty Holmes, I'm in love with Kitty Holmes, I'm not gay, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I prefer the South Park joke where it's just like, Tom, just come out of Stan's closet. Come on, Tom, come out. It's okay. Nobody's mad at you. Just come out, Tom. Come out, please.
Oh, well, someone mad at him for Scientology.
Well, damn.
Also, Pepsi. I really feel thirsty. There was something that could quench that.
Which is, that's funny. I just got back from a carvery that where you can get bottomless Pepsi glasses.
What are you, 7?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Well, again, like I said... Yeah, like I said, bunch of twats.
And he has to fail himself.
Look.
Yeah.
Man, I can just feel the 80s-ness coming off the soundtrack.
Also, this male version of Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Ball is different than I remember.
One of the guys in... Sorry, go on.
Man, if you're a woman or a man who loves sweaty man back, this is your movie.
I'll say
he's real in this.
Since someone mentioned the songs, it really surprised considering that one of the guys involved in the making of the songs was the Scarface composer.
Oh,
yeah.
Like I said, Giorgio Moroder.
Yep.
So there we go. That's almost a little bit of every country. We have a lot of American influence, but also a bit of Italian influence in the music.
Yep. Basically.
Why did we put the scene in the movie? To attract all the girls and boys who are into this, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, like volleyball.
I mean, hey, look, if movies...
You'd be surprised, Dweebs. There was, a couple of animes, like Mila and Shiro or Captain Tsubasa, were made specifically to attract younger viewers to the sport profession, and they worked.
Speaking of Italian musicians, I didn't mention this in the commentary, but there's actually an uncredited composer for the first Metal Gear Solid called Gigi Moroni. So that game also had an entire composer. He went uncredited too.
I don't think he heard, other stuff that he did.
Well, remember, even that game had multiple composers. It's just that the Italian one was uncredited for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, no, I was wondering about these other works.
I'll look it up.
But
also, one thing, if you're more used to the meme of Tom Cruise running in this movie, you have to substitute that with the motorcycle.
God, he rides that motorcycle a lot.
Without a helmet. Imagine back then.
I'll be honest, in terms of entirely synth scores in movies, I think this film does a better job at it than, say, Commando.
Oh, I love Commando's soundtrack.
That film came out a year before.
My favorite with this kind of scene is still the first Never-Ending Story.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the first Terminator.
I like James Horner.
Too.
I like James Horner's music, but in my opinion, entirely synth just wasn't his.
Well, the thing is, Commando was not entirely synth. It had plenty of moments with actual instruments used, especially the saxophone.
And it just sounded like he was sleeping on his synth half the time.
In what way? Because she said that after he was going to use her shower.
Also, that's one big-ass parrot you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Parrot's a big bird.
It depends on the species, but my family used to have a pair of ones, but they were actually relatively small.
Huh.
One of my friends just adopted a parrot.
Which type?
I should ask, because I don't know.
There are many types, but it's a bit hard to potentially track them down.
Yeah, a parrot. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to have life all set out with no bumps in the road?
Hey, Dwebs, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
The very first scene of the first episode of Person of Interest. The room is practically identical.
Okay, hear me out. A crossover between Person of Interest, Metal Gear Solid, and Top Gun.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think the world can handle the potential awesomeness of such an epic crossover.
Well, just as long as we can get Jim Caviezel to stop spouting the crap he's been saying lately about vaccines.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
God, there's so many coming out as anti-vax these days.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the movie.
I think it was that anyway.
Okay.
The kind of people who can eat and drink while wearing white have a kind of energy I do not want to be around.
I know, right? Like, without getting any stains on.
Wait, I don't get that.
Potentially, actually, getting some of that onto your shirt and getting stains.
Because white's the easiest color to get stains on, but nope, they did it completely clean.
Well, Shiro, in that case, I guess be glad that we have a whole seat separating the two of us.
Oh God.
I mean, sometimes I just accidentally spill something. Okay, it's an accident. Okay, don't. It was an accident, Mom.
Okay.
But I'm more curious to what they were. I'm more curious to what they were eating, considering white wine is more associated with fish.
Mm.
So apparently, Maverick's father screwed up and disappeared.
And again, that's how his family name was tarnished.
Yeah, the way he phrased that, the stink of it was he screwed up. Like, you see what I mean? Like, there's an interesting constant theme of mentioning people's odors.
Well, I guess it was a lingo of the 80s for this kind of thing.
It was definitely some 80s lingo, yeah.
Yeah, it is. A lot of time, Sega's considering all the odor jokes in this movie. I wonder if Top Gun is actually where they keep all the top pilots. Top Gun is where they keep all the people with bad odor on them, so no one else has to smell it.
Also, notice my directing because I see the contrast, light and shadow on Tom Cruise's face. Ooh.
Okay. I don't know if I've seen any other Tony Scott films, but I'll have to look up his filmography. Tony Scott, like I said, the late brother of Ridley Scott.
while you're doing that, it would be a missed opportunity if they didn't market some deodorant off this movie.
I guess at that time the Old Spice commercials were too busy for the whole "look at your man, now back to me."
Also, take my breath away.
Could
They
something
left
be?
half of a bottle of wine. What a waste!
I think I've seen.
Again,
I guess-
I don't even like wine that much, but when you open a bottle of alcohol, you fucking finish it.
I guess he
Okay,
wanted to be able to drive sober on the motorcycle.
This is the 80s, Joe, but nobody gave a shit.
Nobody drives sober. What the fuck?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if I've seen any of these other films. For some reason, Enemy of the State sticking out at me. I don't know why.
I think I heard of. Is that the movie with
No, don't you
with
see,
Mint?
honey? This is not
Yeah.
not sweat. It's actually because I just came out of the shower. That's it.
I
Yeah, with,
remember seeing it
Will
and
Smith and
finding
Gene
it
Hackman.
fine. Also,
Oh my
again,
God,
it was
look at
like-
that.
I can look. It's like I'm watching again those promos of Final Fantasy 13, asking me to count, the pixels on
Yeah.
Lightning's belly button piercing.
I wonder,
Sure,
was
sure.
this...
Again, it's the testosterone.
Sure. You kept saying in our Catherine playthrough that Vincent looked like he was going to physically melt because of how much he sweats. Like, how's Tom right now on that spectrum?
I'm surprised these guys aren't just swimming in their own sweat, to be honest. As gross as that is.
This isn't awkward at all. As you were.
Dude, you stink.
Ha! Are you sure we have that straight?
Are you sure about that?
Is that why this film?
Next to doubt.
Is that why they? Well, okay, yeah. They say the word "straight" so many times in this movie.
It's like
Yeah,
it's
Like I said,
The more you say it, the less I believe you. But go on, Pedro.
Again, where do you think that Family Guy bit with Stewie comes from? I don't love Kitty Holmes. I love Kitty Holmes. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Because it's this running gag people like to joke about when it comes to Tom Cruise.
Again, the more you say it.
No, he's played by guy
Anthony
with mustache.
Edwards. Oh, Anthony Edwards. The guy from Planes.
fitting, I guess.
I'm pretty sure that's why he was cast on Planes.
He was also Brains in the Thunderbirds movie.
Yeah,
Well, you guys watched that, so I don't know who he is.
it's
crap.
terrible. Like Dueb said in our commentary, Team America is actually a better Thunderbirds movie than the actual Thunderbirds movie.
Yep.
And the creator of Thunderbirds didn't much care for that film either, but he still liked it more than the Thunderbirds one.
Wow, that's sad.
Ah, 80s computer technology.
Yeah. Remember when computers were basically, Shiro, back in these days, computers were about as powerful as today's calculators. Basically.
And yet some computers were as big as a room.
Yep.
And now we literally have miniature computers called
That thing that you're
smartphones that we
using-
can carry
that thing-
around.
Yeah. That thing that you're using right now, Shiro, that thing used to be a luxury item.
Yeah.
Also, Jesus Christ, like, do they live in the Sahara Desert or something? Like, is this taking place in the Sahara Desert and I just didn't know about it?
Maybe no. You know how I got it. I got why they sweat so much.
Go on.
Jet fuel is expensive, so to dilute it a bit, so they don't have to use as much, they sweat so that they can put it in the fuel and make it last a bit longer or something.
Recycling.
Yeah, sweat recycle.
Ugh.
Okay, yeah, and funny thing, fun fact, this song, I'm guessing, was a lot of inspiration, since me and Shiro not long ago watched, were watching Red Dwarf. This theme was practically like the 100% an inspiration for a main theme of one of the main guest characters in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do prefer the theme that came after that much better.
Oh, there you go, Dibs. Here's more careless driving. Your favorite.
I mean, she's looking at the road.
Well, yeah, but that bit in the intersection wasn't exactly great. What, you followed me here just so you could finish your sentence? Have you heard of
Yes,
phones, woman?
Oh my God! It's the woman doing the pickup lines.
What, you're going to just drop that bomb on me? Like,
No! Don't you see, guys? It's progressive. Instead of a man doing the pickup lines, it's the woman doing the pickup lines.
I mean,
well, that's cool, I guess. It's just that.
I mean, that's subversion.
Geez, like you just drop that bomb on me, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for subversion of tropes, but yeah, that came out of nowhere.
And if I recall correctly, this movie was rated PG-13, so naked discretion shot.
I guess this was kind of a thing in the 80s, because since the first Terminator movie also kind of did this.
I'm guessing.
Also, Pedro.
Yes.
Oh,
sure.
go on, Jova.
I'm guessing the car chase got her really hot and bothered.
Yeah, even the sex scene. Yeah, even the sex scene is reminiscent of that movie.
Wouldn't that be something to tell the kids? Mom, how did you and Dad fall in love?
I love how you can actually see their tongues, like.
Whoa, dang! All right,
What's the
okay.
rating of these, by the way?
PG-13, I think, or PG. Let me check.
Well, remember, this was before the PG-13 rating.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what.
Yep, PG. So kids were able to come in and see the action.
Remember, yeah, this was in a day where, since there was no PG-13, yeah, it was either PG or R, and yeah, this was not really R material. So.
Mommy, what are the man and woman doing
just
there?
Abandoned her the day after with a letter. What a gentleman.
They're wrestling little Timmy.
No. He left her a paper airplane. You know, it's cute.
Tom Cruise is the origami killer. I knew it.
There you go.
But yes, Pedro, considering our conversation yesterday, I thought it would just be easier for guys if the girls just said it first.
I guess this movie thinks that too. So I gotta wonder, how would a kid have reacted to that scene? Mommy, what is Tom Cruise and the lady doing in the room there in the dark?
I told you, wrestling.
Why are their tongues wrestling?
It's called tennis.
Oh, cool. Maybe I should do tennis with my friends too.
Oh yeah, guys, that's the Top Gun trophy.
Right, yes, the trophy.
They established that beforehand.
Also, Shiro, that is true, yeah. But at the same time, there are better ways of doing it than. By the way, I've fallen for you, just in case you know. Just in case you don't realize.
I guess the bad driving was supposed to show him how dedicated she truly is. Huh.
Yeah, we take off our face masks just so you can tell who the actors are.
Was Tom Cruise a big name at this point, or was this like his big break film?
His name was on the poster, so...
I joked in the original commentary that this very sort to launch his career.
Well, his name was on the poster.
Well, of course, yeah, but all the same, though,
I don't think he had much under his belt until this point. Let me check.
I think we finally found a movie that Hayao Miyazaki will not say it's a mistake that it happened.
This one?
the man
like
loves
I said, he
planes.
tends to prefer older.
Well, but And planes flying around. They're not even really being used for war. They're used for fucking around.
Yeah, all the more reason why. Because remember, like the whole thing with Wind Rises is that
there you go.
absolutely the test planes being used for war.
This was relatively early in his career. The movie that I recognize that he did before this was the one that Dave's mentioned before, Legend from Ridley Scott. And like he said, he wasn't particularly the most well-casted member in that.
And also, that film had different musical scores depending on what country you watched it in.
For some reason. Although it's worth noting that apparently the director's cut of the movie settles on one of them specifically.
Yeah, what score do you want to hear? Do you want the European version that's done by American Jerry Goldsmith, or do you want the American version done by German group Tangerine Dream?
Those hooligans! But yes,
like I said, it's more interesting also the fact that this is about a training group, and therefore there are no actual acts of war, aggression, or actually launching missiles, but it's done all in theory. So it's actually done in a more controlled kind of environment rather than portraying potentially the horrors of war, like many other movies would have loved to do.
Mm-hmm. The idea of this is simulating air combat, essentially. So
Which is, what training does.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just novices screwing around in planes.
If they make a Top Gun 3, what do you think the odds are that there'll be a scene that's a training exercise, but they switch to a real gun? The guy deliberately does it, and he's a bad guy, and he kills one of the pilots.
Dreams, you're talking about a scene that happens in Starship Troopers, actually.
Wow.
I've seen that film, but honestly...
Yes, we tried to comment on it once. Damn it! Outsmarted by Michael Ironside.
It was so random. I think the altitude is getting to you.
Hey, Bibbs, I think we need to get Lee Army in here.
This was a year before Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Also,
dude, shoes in the locker room.
Yeah, we were talking about the stink beforehand. Seriously.
That's why they have so many. Why do you think they have so many shower scenes in this film?
Imagine. Yeah, look at his face. Yeah, and now imagine if there was a sauna scene in this movie.
Oh God, literal hot and steamy.
They need buckets for the sweat. Like, oh my God.
Don't worry, you'll get him next time. Or evade him next time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna tell him that you cheated on him?
With Meg Ryan, no less.
Oh, and Kelly McGillis.
Inspirational guitar.
Oh, for a second there, I thought the music was played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Is that
this is the kind of guitar sting that's prevalent in Metal Gear Solid 4.
No, I got it. In Top Gun 3, it'll be at night. The main villain sings that song as he kills one of the main characters.
Don't say that to the child.
Says through gritted teeth. Yeah, that's great.
I'll kill him later.
I kill him now, but they're witnesses.
And yes, but Tom Cruise singing.
Also, right, yeah, Carol's the one played by Meg Ryan, not Charlotte, actually.
Count your blessings, it's not Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, can you imagine? Pierce
I only
Brosnan.
heard about the legend when it comes to the Mamma Mia movies, and I'm perfectly glad I have never watched them and don't.
Okay, imagine Pierce Brosnan doing an American accent on top of Pierce Brosnan trying to sing.
The auto-tune couldn't save him.
Didn't he also played the king in the 2021 Cinderella movie where he sings again in there?
Oh my God, he was.
Maybe he improved.
Sure, he hadn't improved just a few years earlier at the
Meryl Streep improved.
If what Diva mentioned in her musical hair review of the movie says anything, probably not.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sherry, remember, Mamma Mia 2 only came out a few years before...
To be fair, though, like
before that film.
To be fair, like Sherry pointed out, Meryl Streep managed to improve, thankfully. So,
That commentary was beautiful.
Welcome to the...
you mean our Mamma Mia commentary?
Your panorama shot actually was pretty great. Again, you can tell that this was the time where everybody wanted to get the Spielberg effect of filming at the magic hour and getting that right.
Wow, I guess...
Again, Highway to the Danger Zone.
So, okay, so I guess he was going into the danger zone with that sex there.
That was just lemon, Jordan. Come on.
Gosh, haven't heard them referred to as lemons for a long time.
Some people still do.
You know the funny thing? Danger Zone, in the sequel, they only used Danger Zone like once.
Let me guess, it's for the big climax.
Once or twice.
Is it for the climax?
Very beginning of the movie.
I guess
well, it makes sense that it should be used in either the top or the bottom credits.
The rest of it was using either the score or a Lady Gaga track. I can't remember which one.
A Lady Gaga doing a remix of Highway to the Danger Zone would be cool.
But no, they used the original song for the sequel.
Oh, I know.
They didn't remix it or anything.
She is a very versatile singer, though.
She is. She can even sing.
I didn't think she'd be a film composer, but there we are.
Oh yeah, no. Well, you'd be surprised how many singers do make the transition into film composition.
Masato Nakamura never had composed a score before composing Sonic 1.
Whoa. All those cuts.
Oh boy.
Like I said, they probably wanted to make use of all the shots they could get, and as such, that's why the editing can get. Although, it was also a custom a bit of the time. Again, if correctly you watch it, but if you forgot, the 90s Captain America movie is prone to give you potentially seizures at some points for how fast the editings and the quick cuts are.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really see that.
The scene, there's a scene towards the climax, the one where Chris Tucker spotlighted, where there's 30 cuts in the span of 6 seconds or something.
Was that the bit where he decapitates a woman?
No. It's one inside the castle, if I recall correctly.
I guess. Honestly, that movie's just pissing me off and boring.
Oh, right, it's bad already on its own. I'm just saying the editing does not do it favors.
I guess. It was nice still of the MCU to put a little reference to it. Uh-oh. So, yeah, a few years later, believe it or not, this movie was big enough to get a literal roller coaster ride named after it. Well, made after it.
I can't imagine, considering they want to replicate the ecstasy of...
But there's a problem.
Oh, boy.
Shit. It's the G-Force.
Goose, you wouldn't
There
die.
we go.
You have a little family and kids waiting for you.
Whee!
Oh.
Oh no.
But Goose hit the top of the window as he was getting out, and is now
DED.
You mean to tell me the
again,
man who wanted to just graduate and had a wife and kids ended up dying?
Well, it's worth noting they shockingly restrained him waiting until this moment to kill the best friend. Usually that happens relatively early on.
Sure, yeah. And yes, he is the best friend.
So the moral of the film is don't fuck about in jet planes.
Just to answer your question from before, Teo, I can't for the life of me find anything from Gigi Moroni's resume. Aside from Metal Gear Solid, it doesn't seem to...
It might have been just a McDonald's support composers, but as you mentioned, go uncredited all over the place, potentially.
I'll give him credit also, they're relatively gentle about it too.
I mean, it's certainly better than in the first Independence Day, where not only it's so telegraphed, but it's so shallow in execution, when you get down to it. And yeah, not even he got away scot-free.
Emergency hospital. It applies to hospitals as opposed to hospitals that don't deal with emergencies.
Well, I get the idea it might be reserved to, what's the term? ER. Yeah.
And your flying was responsible.
Basically, you need to get used to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Don't worry. I'm sure his son won't hold a grudge against you.
Wink. Nice car.
Yep.
Yes.
Was the jet perhaps sabotaged?
Well, I mean, considering how people keep saying you're reckless, you fly recklessly.
Yeah, if anything, this is, again, his ultimate second to third test of character, exploiting his weakness.
Somewhere far away from here, his son will grow up to be Miles Teller and be like, I'm gonna hate Tom Cruise.
How specific.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, speaking of a son. Oh boy.
Another company that probably, profit a lot from this, Ray-Ban, because, aviator glasses are very popular for this very reason, and they're the major, producers of them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I swear this one music track's been played for the last 5 minutes.
Well, it's to show how somber the mood is in that regard.
No.
Again, thankfully, we averted that kind of cliche, and instead, Tom Cruise's character's grieving feels more genuine in this.
I swear he was going to yell that.
Movie of the 80s, again, all the jokes that we did aside, for a movie like of the 80s, you can tell that there's a lot of elements that you can consider a bit ahead of their times. Like trying to avert some of the cliches. Even the female supporting character is not just a tool, but she has a high position and she's very competent at her job.
Mm-hmm. I do like how she doesn't go to blaming him for it. Because,
like
you know,
said, the sequel is for that. Oh, it's funny. When we originally commented on this, there is mentioned about the actual other plane movie this was competing against. I forgot what it's called, like Iron Eagle, I think.
Iron Eagle, yeah.
Which did got like what 3 or 4 sequels, and all of them suck.
Well, funny story. Iron Eagle came out the exact same year this film did.
was it good?
No.
Not even the first one? Ooh.
Well, Jova. It was directed by the guy who would go on to direct Superman 4.
Sidney J. Fury?
Yeah.
Oh. Does he have anything good under his belt? He apparently won a BAFTA award for something.
Further Fly was decent.
Surprisingly enough, the court-martial decides to not repute him guilty.
Interesting.
Which means you're back on the job.
I've heard things about Superman 4.
Oh, no, the Entity, sorry, that's what the film was called.
Okay, I think the Supergirl movie is technically worse, but Superman 4 has a bigger baggage on its shoulders.
Let me put it like this. It may be more entertaining than Superman 3, but I will hold that it is technically worse than Superman 3. Like,
I mean, I'll agree it's technically worse, yes.
It's technically a worse movie, but in terms of actually watching it, oh my god, Superman 3 is just painful.
Right. But yeah, no, sure.
Look at something like Freddy Got Fingered. Well, actually, no, that's a bad example. Carry on. Come on.
Basically,
Four at least has the entertainment value of a lot of things, including, at least to me, seeing how badly they tried to disguise Milton Keynes as Metropolis.
And what's even worse is that Superman 4 is quite evidently the cheapest of the movies.
Oh yeah, well that's never been in doubt.
Oh? Looks like Maverick's got a bit of PTSD and is kind of trying to...
it might influence his, his performance.
Anyway, that's Clarence Gilliard as Sundown over there.
Behave on the job.
Again, unfortunately, Maverick, you can tell that he's clearly shook by his actions and he's afraid of, potentially committing the same mistakes, if not worse.
Uh-huh.
Give it time. Yeah, basically.
So what of his rival Iceman?
Well, maybe he can provide some, words of encouragement.
Oh snap, real name basis.
Yeah, he tried.
I do like that.
I mean, you could tell he was trying.
I do like that he also knew when to pull back and not to try and force it either. Again, like, for an 80s film, this movie does have a surprisingly good amount of restraint. Eh?
At least when he's washed up, he's not actually drinking complete alcohol. For all we know, that's just basically Sprite.
Can vodka ever be that clear?
Yes, actually, traditional
boy.
one. But I get the idea. It's not that, especially not with that amount of ice.
Oh, it's hemlock. Oh, never mind. It's ice water.
There you go.
Well,
considering how everyone is sweating, I get the idea. That's what they need.
Water is good for you.
Stay hydrated.
Dehydrate.
I guess it's good on him to realize that it probably would not be the best time to get drunk.
Again, it's also would be another typical cliche, the whole drowning my sorrows in alcohol and everything. But
yeah, no, this movie.
You see, Jova, this subverts the expectations.
Huh. I have to give this movie credit. It does it very well. Again, ironically, it's more so the woman who hits more on the guy. Well, okay, he was hitting on her first technically, but she's the one who eventually nailed him with the pickup lines.
You can tell this love story is also a bit more believable because it's not just a matter of one of the partner just being the one too dominant towards the other, but there's a genuine dynamic of trying to sustain each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not just an end game of, oh, we have sex. Like, no, these two actually do form a healthy relationship.
Again, both of these are not tokens, they're actual characters beforehand.
Yeah.
About the drinking, too, it like you mentioned the sweat as like a joke, but they seem to be in a very hot climate, so water instead of alcohol would be much better.
Yeah.
If you ever heard urban legend, kids, if you're actually doing it in a situation where you're either too cold because of your dying hypothermia, or it's too hot or being dehydrated, don't drink alcohol. It's really making things worse.
But Teo, drinking alcohol looks a lot cooler on film than water, though.
There's also the stereotype of the Saint Bernard bringing you the flask of whiskey in his collar.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
It was actually used for a while on the Alps, Shiroi.
I guess this movie is educational in knowing that it's good to stay hydrated. Granted,
it's supposed to be propaganda for the U.S. Navy, I guess it might as well go the extra mile.
As someone who's had a vacation down south where we ended up being constantly dehydrated, yeah, hydration is especially important in the warmer climates.
Mushy.
Also, because they're clearly in a hotter climate, we don't have to see all the 80 sweater vests.
Yeah, like, no, I'm sorry. I don't care how much you like a sweater vest. You're never going to survive with those down in the desert. Oh.
I mean, he mentioned that it's classified.
Ah. I was one of the ones he rescued. And who knows, maybe you might even walk away with the Top Gun trophy.
Are you a bad enough dude, Tom?
Good old 80s lingo. Some of it is just timeless in a way. Because of how dated it is.
I was going to say, and some of it should stay in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Not like the bullets.
We're
Again.
talking more about the lingos rather than the appearance. But you have a point still.
Well, again, sorry guys, mullets are apparently coming back.
Again, considering how popular it is, one particular sport that me and my family tend to do is, since every single day there's a replica of an episode of Murder, She Wrote, we count the ways the costume department fucked up so bad in that.
Oh? Wait, hold on. There's a replica of that show?
Oh, not replicas as in reruns, you know.
Oh, okay.
But both the costumes and the haircuts in those shows are terrible.
Murder, She Wrote, an 80s to 90s show, so yes, a time capsule.
Yeah, speaking of time capsule, again, you can tell also the cinematography. Again, I mentioned even before, but you can tell how they wanted to squeeze in all those sunset and dawn type of shots as much as they could, and make use of it.
Also, the leather jackets.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is he not gonna show up?
He's gonna slow walk down like the middle right there.
Leave you wondering, did he quit?
Champagne.
Oh.
There he is.
He just goes up on the stage like, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please?
I drink champagne when it's free.
Yeah. Then he goes up on stage, is like, have your attention, please, everyone. I got an announcement to make. I quit. Bye. Then just walks off.
Drop mic.
Sorry, I can never hear the words, I have an announcement to make, seriously. No.
Why is there something?
The dub of Sonic Adventure 2, Dweebs.
Really?
Yes.
Have you seen that dubbed, Wibs?
They're referring to Snapcube.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant that in the game itself. I'm thinking, wait, what happened?
Fan dub.
Oh, they did a stream of Murder the Sonic the Hedgehog. It is glorious.
Did they do a fan dub of that too?
Yeah, they brought in a lot of the people to be part of that.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, I thought those letters were going to be, right, everyone, there are letters on your desk. A few of them are meaning you're promoted. Some are just basically you remaining at the rank you are. But one that I've drawn completely at random is going to fire one of you. Why?
Because.
Fuck you, that's why. Could you imagine if that's how companies handled their firings? You just did it at random in letters.
It's not too far from reality. Also, hey, we brought back the principal.
Yep.
So yeah, the climax of this movie, the exam for the Top Gun, is again yet another simulation. Let's describe this hypothetical scenario about firing a missile. Jesus, the sweat.
Yeah, it's like, shut up already.
Dang. Shut him down.
I'm pretty sure some of these shots were recycled from the intro.
Possibly.
I know that some of the moves that the technicians had to be, pre-made, like they had to follow a specific protocol for the launch. But some of these shots felt way too identical. I wonder if they were potentially alternate takes of their purpose.
Well, Tom Cruise, funnily enough, he's actually a licensed pilot.
Yeah, I mentioned he actually learned.
After all the training, you might as well be.
Honestly, I can only imagine how many licenses, registrations, everything Tom Cruise has from literally all he's learned to shoot his movies.
Yeah, to be honest, in the film that's all about glorifying flying, I'm surprised Harrison Ford isn't in any of these films.
Okay, let me put it like this. If there's a movie involving Tom Cruise that involves going into deep space, I would sooner believe that he'll learn to be an astronaut than them using CGI.
Has there ever been a film, okay, Star Wars aside, has there ever been a film that actually has Harrison Ford flying a plane in it?
Okay, don't remember if he actually gets in control of the plane, but Air Force One, I guess, is the closest.
Or John Travolta.
Maybe he piloted a helicopter in Expendables 3?
I don't think so.
Phrasing.
Because those are the only 3 actors that I know that are qualified pilots.
Tom Cruise is built different.
Yeah.
Alright, Maverick. Oh, he even kept his dog tags. I wonder if they'll play Highway to the Danger Zone on the climax, too.
Either that or the crash.
Probably.
Or maybe both.
I'm surprised they didn't make a sad reprise of Fire Me to the Danger Zone during the bit where they're mourning the guy's death.
I think around this time they were not really accustomed to doing the dark reprise.
Yeah, I can just imagine it now. Highway to the death zone.
I think Star Wars was obviously the bigger one that was doing it at the time, but I don't remember any other particular movies that are famous for having that.
Well, shoot.
And this is how Hal Jordan becomes Green Lantern.
All just training, right?
You'll be fine.
Sure would have been nice if somebody warned me we were using actual live missiles on this training experiment.
They want it to be as immersive as possible.
Oh boy. So, if I understand correctly, these are actual Russians shooting at them. Oh, whoa, those CGI shots.
Well, the Soviets, yeah.
So yeah, this training exercise turned into a very real exercise.
But sir, if we don't do it properly, we could damage the plane.
Oh, snap. So it looks like it might be up to Maverick to save the day. I have to give them credit. They got some pretty good shots for the film.
It's no good. It's no use.
My head's spinning.
Oh yeah.
What a view.
No. You guys always go for the obvious ones. Allow me. Here. Let's go for one that people don't actually overuse the hell out of it. This blue sky. Stare at it from afar. Have I seen it before? Seriously, what the fuck was up?
All right, let's do this.
How the hell Jason Griffith delivered that line without laughing his arse off?
Well, just to be fair, it's still less. It's still better than "Let's get moving."
Or better than Sonic. I'm coming.
Or of course, Jova, the greatest line Jason Griffith has ever done for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Allow me.
Classic.
That delivery. Yeah, you can tell that the shots were, overimposed in post, but I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's just a thing you expect in an 80s film or older.
Also, considering how difficult this probably was to film, I think they can have some slack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean, I will give them credit again. For a film made in the 80s, this was probably state-of-the-art technology that they had to use to get a shot this good, since, no, they are actually up in the air for this stuff. What, is Ice going to be your wingman by the end of this movie? Oh my god, I guess so.
They mentioned in the debriefing that Maverick has to be the wingman to Ice.
Get it? They're rivals who became wingmen. Poetry.
Again, apparently, according to at least what I'm reading, because I don't remember how much of it is accurate, apparently when the studio saw the initial cut, they made the filmmakers call Cruise and McGill's back to shoot extra scenes because the romance was not convincing enough compared to Maverick's quote-unquote friendship with Goose.
Wow! So it's like, okay, screw it. You guys, sex scene. Just to convince people.
I think it was either that or the scene at the docks.
Oh.
Alright, we gotta cover this up with Compat.
With what?
Compulsory heterosexuality.
Is that what they call it nowadays?
A bit more complicated than that.
Also, the way you pronounce here, I thought you were referring to Japanese.
God, I would say, God, I feel like that old man that doesn't understand new phrases, but sure he's older than me.
Huh.
Not by much, be quiet.
No!
By about 8-9 months.
I'm legit surprised that a full-on video game adaptation was not properly
there
made
are
of this
a couple,
movie.
actually, Jova. The problem is that most of them suck. Let me tell you again. According to TV tropes, the ones that ideally don't suck are a PC game called Top Gun Fire at Will and an iPhone game from Freewares, which is an Afterburner clone. All the others tend to be very bad.
So the best thing this may have gotten video game-wise was a collaboration with Ace Combat.
Basically. And even that, it's just airplane skins to be used in the game.
Oh.
It's like we're saying, it's like when say a racing game like Gran Turismo will get sponsorship deals with car companies for a model to be used in there.
It feels weird because it's not like, Flight Simulator or like, dogfight games were impossible to make good back then, so...
Again, both Ace Combat and Afterburner showcase it is possible, but unfortunately, it's just a matter of devs not being good at their job, unfortunately.
Yeah, because this feels like it should have been an obvious
Maverick did it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh, yeah.
We did it.
We saved the world from communism.
Yep. Yep. He'll be safe for this. He'll be safe from the sequel. 36 years from now.
No joke. I don't. Okay. I don't know if a sequel was a big ask or not, but I do know that the announcement of the sequel was a big surprise. Apparently,
yeah. I had to say, I think it was at the point that people maybe back in the day would have wanted one, but after a while they said, "Well, okay, that's enough. They're just gonna reboot it if they go back to it." But no, they stick to their guns.
A lot of people.
Their Top Gun.
The ship had sailed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, plus I wonder how much. I wonder how much another film sequel. I wonder how much there was. Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
That was yet another sequel. That's another sequel to a cult film from the 80s. I wonder how much that box office failure had to do with most of it.
What I do like, what I've heard about Top Gun Maverick is like, it's a sequel to a classic movie that avoids doing a lot of stupid trappings that sequels to long classics.
You were the Maverick all along.
Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, Jova, you know what other film also kind of avoided most of those trappings?
What?
Jurassic World Dominion.
Huh, interesting. I've yet to see that movie.
It's fine. I don't think it's as bad as critics say it
Just
is. But,
kiss. Come on.
Oh, but
there we go.
Yeah, see?
It got to the point where where little Kuribo used this line between Yugi and Yusei in the abridged version of Bonds Beyond Time.
We assure you there is no romance between them. It's just platonic friendship. He has a girlfriend.
They're just bros hanging out.
Living the moment.
Free pay.
Never mind the fact that they had to be roommates on this job,
Sharing lockers and everything.
Literally naked together
Kelly
in the
McGillis
gym.
go?
Well, she's not on this mission with them.
I was going to say, she was one of the other main top-billed stars of this movie. And...
I guess he buried them at sea.
He symbolically let's go, Goose. Which, I don't know, I think you could have just conserved the dog taxi.
I'm sure he won't come back to haunt you.
80s guitar.
Can you blink? Oh, there you go.
Yep, and he still has that job in the next movie.
So they did, in fact, follow through.
I mean, yeah, there was a 36-year gap. So,
so does the sequel?
There you go. Nobody's happy is drinking beer, I guess.
So does the sequel take place 36 years after?
In universe, I think so.
Yeah, like 30-odd years later. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was meant to come out a bit sooner than 36 years, but
pandemic
stuff happened.
And everything, yeah.
Well, all sorts. I'll get more into that when we get to that film.
Mm-hmm. Also, there was a Clint Eastwood poster. How random.
And Clint Eastwood pretty much transitioned to being mostly a director by that point.
Yeah.
He was still a big name though at the time. Man, he's been in the business for quite a while.
Like a cameo in Casper for some reason.
Well, maybe it seemed like a good idea at the time. Or maybe it was just his way of saying, look, there, I did a kid's film. Are you happy now?
I forgot. Did Tom Cruise ever voice acted for a kids movie?
I don't think so.
Let me check.
Oh wait, maybe for a DreamWorks movie at some point.
I don't remember any character being Tom Cruise X, Tom Cruise, animal or object. Because usually when you tend to mention about, DreamWorks movie, you say, oh, Will Smith Fish, Jack Black Panda, and stuff like that. That's wild.
Was this one of the scenes that they had to do afterwards?
I don't know. It's never mentioned specifically. Like I said, I think either the proper sex scenes or the one in at the docks. That the one at the docks, if I had to bet, because that one felt like it was a reshoot. But yeah, and that's how it ends with here's the cast:
Anthony Edwards as Goose, Val Kilmer as Ice, Rick Rossovich as Slider, Whip Burley as Hollywood, Barry Tubb as Wolfman, Tom Skerritt as Viper, Michael Ironside as Jester, Kelly McGillis as Charlie, Tom Cruise as Maverick.
Oh, so I guess he didn't have top billing in the credits back then, despite being the main actor.
They wanted to go for the whole instead, it's at the end, so...
Probably, yeah.
I think that was one of the shortest.
Oh my god!
Those kinds of credits I've ever seen.
It's not really that, the complete list. If I have to be honest. But yeah, that's it.
Oh,
obviously
we're
there's
not
a post-credit scene, even though there's a sequel eventually. But
weird. We're not starting with Highway to the Danger Zone on the credits. That's surprising.
Yeah, so expectations and all that stuff. Can I go first?
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, this film does have a couple of issues. Its story, if you can call it that. I mean, there's a character. Again, that's basically one of those films that has a character arc be the story.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically Maverick trying to trying to not be so risky, and also I don't, when he does get the risk, when the risk does turn into death, try and cope with it.
Also, there's character arc being the story. That's basically what Slice of Life is. So it's character-driven storytelling.
Yep.
So
yeah,
that's the thing that's been around for a long time.
So I look forward to the inevitable Slice of Life anime Top Gun adaptation.
Also, Tim Robbins was in.
No, Drebs, you're thinking too small. You're thinking too small. Hayao Miyazaki making a Top Gun anime.
Sure.
Studio Ghibli's Top Gun 3.
You know what? I could totally see that working. Just make sure you have Tom Cruise to voice act.
If he can voice that is.
If they were making it, Tom Cruise would probably go out of his way to learn Japanese just so he can voice himself in the Japanese version.
Given that he has literally rock climbed up a dangerous mountain without any climbing gear, I'm not kidding, sure he's done that on several occasions. I get the feeling learning Japanese would be like a walk in the park for him.
There go aerial consultants.
Yeah, but aside from that, there's not much. There's not much
Wait,
of a
Peter
story.
Pettigrew was a technical advisor?
Oh my god!
What happened?
I think this was before he killed. He had his friends killed.
Phoenix.
So I guess he was in the film industry for a bit before Voldemort drafted him.
But aside from that, there's not much really to the film story-wise. It's just basically a bunch of Navy pilots fucking around with each other and and possibly fucking each other, and and also there's a romance in the movie.
You know,
a bit.
the fact that people are now more willing to accept the idea of bisexuality probably doesn't help things, because now, even if we claim that Tom Cruise is in a loving relationship with Kelly, bisexuality doesn't mean he doesn't also have bedroom eyes for Iceman.
I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't. But I mean, aside from that, the air sequences are a lot of fun to watch, even if they are a bit fastly cut together at points. I do think that's one area in which Maverick was better.
Well, I mean Maverick had
I had like a 36-year advantage.
Yeah, Arskoll. That was the guy who unfortunately passed during the making of the film due to a plane crash while filming.
Yeah. Alas.
And and also there's the music, which is okay. In terms of 80s sim scores, I wouldn't exactly call it my personal favorite. I'd put that down more to Scarface, but it's still solid enough. And Danger Zone. Okay. I will say I don't think it was as overused as I feared it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't use Danger Zone during Tom Cruise taking a dump, or something like that. That would have been awkward.
Yeah.
And the acting was solid by everybody, especially Tom Cruise, who thankfully seemed to have gotten over his bizarrely poor performance in the last major film he was in before this.
What was that, Cocktail?
No,
Cocktail was after this.
No, I was talking about that Ridley Scott film he was in.
Legend. I think
Legend.
Cocktail was 1993.
Yeah, Legend was before that.
85.
Yeah. But yeah, he has gotten a lot better. But possibly because this role plays more to his strengths. The cocky sort who is also really good at stuff that he does. But yeah, basically, all in all, this is a perfectly good 80s action movie. Although again, a sequel pretty much took full advantage and did what this film was doing a lot better. But again, they had a 36-year gap.
Like, let me put it like this: it would have been embarrassing if the sequel did not at least improve on some things after 36 years.
Especially because after, I think around the time Maverick came out, the Tomcat models of airplane that they used in this movie were basically retired, so they had to do something with the new models.
Yep, so if I recall correctly, Tom Cruise had to completely learn for a new model of fighter jet to fly.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, solid work.
All right then.
Shirai?
Yeah, that was fun. 80s shenanigans.
Was it the gayest macho film ever?
Fast and Furious still beats it by being,
About
a whole
family.
franchise with a bunch of movies. But yes, still appropriately gay. It's just whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I don't know. I like 80s synth, so the soundtrack is fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just over the top, silly, ridiculous 80s action movie. Yep. Commend them for being able to film this the way they did, at least. So I think that's the only thing of note I actually have to say. But yeah, this was fun. And who's next?
Pedro?
Yeah, this was a blast because, well, it's just like there's just a unique vibe to this movie that is just unreplaceable. Where there's just like every character in this movie feels like they want to eat each other in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun. The music is great. The action is fantastic. Like it's just a blast because it's just like it's a classic and it deserves to be like a classic. Like this, like we've said, the sequel is better. It has better writing, you know, and better character development and stuff like that. But this is still, again, a classic just because of that unique style that you don't really see from movies anymore.
But tell me, Pedro, does this movie really convince you that Tom Cruise is not gay?
If that was the goal, I'm not entirely certain this is the one that does it.
But the sex scene and everything, we shot it to show you that he is straight as a board.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Straight as a dry noodle.
Again, I think South Park put it best. Tom, just come out of the closet. It's okay.
Nobody's
mad at you.
bro.
Nobody's mad at you. Just come out. Come out of there.
I'll hold the door open for you if you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's self-explanatory why this movie is awesome at this point. Carry on.
Jova?
Oh yeah, no, this movie really was a blast. I will say this though, like with Disney's Sword in the Stone, this was not what I was expecting. Like, what I was expecting was definitely something that was more of an epic quest, but ironically, if you consider the military, the general setting, a lot of this does feel kind of like a slice of life film. That does have a climax, mind you, but it's definitely more of a character-driven story than a story-driven one, which is not inherently a bad thing. I do like it how the climax is a legit real dogfight that occurs during what was supposed to just be a training exercise, which I feel is a good culmination and conclusion to the arc. As much as I joke about how, the relationship between Tom Cruise and Kelly's characters was literally just to have, people say no homo, the relationship is still well done. Although the gay energy is really strong between Maverick and Iceman. In a good way, of course. Like, they start off as rivals, but end as friendly wingmen.
See, that's how it always starts.
Well, oh my god, yeah, Phoenix and Edgeworth start off as rivals. And what am I saying? I had canon Phoenix and Cyrus, not Phoenix and Miles Edgeworth.
Phoenix worked to get into one of the most difficult professions on the planet because he wanted to see Edgeworth again. If that is not the gayest motivation ever, I'm sorry.
He did it to save his friend, okay?
Sure, question. I know that you haven't played the game or seen most of that story, but have you seen that animated cutscene in Ace Attorney 5 involving Phoenix and Edgeworth?
Oh,
I have not, no.
You can watch that scene out of context without spoilers or anything. Let's just say that scene would make this movie proud.
Oh god.
Carry on.
Anyway, though, but yeah, no, like, all the character dynamics are done well. And again, despite this movie having cliches, it does them in ways that actually manages to surprise me. And again, for an 80s film, that's not bad. Now, what's a real marvel is, again, the filming techniques that they employed to film this movie. Again, aside from like some bullet shots or something, a lot of this is pretty much all practically shot, including the flight shots. Like, no, they actually are up there for the most part. And I can imagine that was no small feat to do. So, no, real kudos is all around. And you know what? For something that's essentially military propaganda, I do like that it's wholesome, but it doesn't try to, glamour up all the life of the military, because it does show that, yeah, some messed up stuff can occur, and you will kind of have to get used to that, unfortunately, even if it is the death of your best friend. So, no, this was a really great movie, and I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel. Also, the soundtrack was great, and I do love me Highway to the Danger Zone. Which I believe leaves you, Tio.
Yes. Honestly, it's better than I remember, although not too much. I already had a good opinion on it, but I enjoyed it more this time around. And I'm actually glad again that we got to do this generation for the sake of having an actual good commentary on it that gives justice to this movie. And again, despite I'm not completely too attached to this movie because, like I said, when you really get down to it, it's a movie about not much. It's just about the training career of these people in a rather relatively harmless kind of setting, aside from the ending, the climax. But so it's not normally my thing, but I appreciate it on the artistic value and the fact that, again, for a movie of the mid 80s, jokes aside, it did actually had a couple of things that for the time were not exactly super common or what people would have expected, and maybe it got mocked maybe for the same reason, but today instead it manages to resonate a bit more at the very least, which is actually commendable compared to a lot of other products who instead actually went on the deep end. Again, the acting is fine for the most part, genuinely enjoyable. The soundtrack is at the same time. The cinematography, actually, like I said, the shots during the magic hour feel actually genuine. And when the movie is shot at night, they actually are shot at night instead of day to night recolored shots, which would have been so cheaply easy to make these days. So actually, that's pretty cool. Again, even the love story, for as much as we joke that it feels kind of forced, like we mentioned, it feels also more genuine than having just the token girl, which you fall in love automatically because it's a cliche we need to follow through at the time. Again, there was clearly some passion put into it. And the fact that one of the writers of Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas was involved in this baffles me to no end.
It
Because how do
really
you
is
go from
amazing.
this to that?
You really just wonder.
Not to mention the first one, Akonda movies, which are, they're very stupid. Not necessarily completely bad, but stupid. Enjoyably stupid, but stupid.
Let me guess, Jaws knockoffs.
Kinda, sorta. Well, they are more similar, of course, in thematics to stuff like Congo, for example. Also, the first movie tries to have Ice Cube as a major actor in it. As you can imagine, it doesn't work.
I think Ice Cube got better in later years, but I'm not sure he was the best at that time.
It's like, Jova, to comparison, it's like having Pharrell Williams as in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Even if he can stand on his own, you're just asking what is he doing there. I still have to see properly Maverick on my own. I only know the fame. But again, it's only a matter of time before we give a look at it, so I'll just save it myself for that. That's pretty nice. So eventually see you for the 2022 second highest grossing movie, if I recall correctly, Top Gun Maverick.
All right. See ya.
See ya.